The following views expressed herein are for the specific purpose of being really, really funny, and shouldn't really be taken seriously at all, because I'm not sure that either of us actually even believe this stuff. Deal with it.
Well, another day, another night, randomly researching stuff on TikTok because I don't want to get on the news because the news makes me mad.
Yeah, the news makes me mad too.
Dude,
What?
I was on there the other day and I saw this TikTok. It was a TikTok edit of like Joe Rogan. I get a lot of those.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
so sorry.
Some of them are good, and then some
Are
of them,
they?
well, they're. I mean, you always got to kind of take stuff with a grain of salt. I mean, I wish I could get rich off saying outrageous things to the media.
I guess my problem with Rogan is that he agrees with whoever he has on.
Oh yeah, he's like 17 faced.
Yeah. Like it doesn't matter who's on with him. He'll agree with them.
Yeah.
And then he takes whatever they say as fact.
Yeah. Well, the topic on this one was it was flat Earth theory. And it got me thinking, and I started looking into a bunch of that stuff. And like, have you ever okay, all right, hear me out. You ever looked into it? Like for real?
All I know about flat Earth, and this is really all I know about it, is that they claim that the Earth's flat, that we're surrounded by like the firmament from the above, right?
Okay.
And the ice wall at the edge of the planet, right? That's what they claim.
Yeah. If I understand it right, yeah. Well, what if it's true?
What do you mean? What is it? What do you mean?
Look, I don't mean to be this kind of guy, but we all know that you have a tendency sometimes to be a little close-minded.
I have never been close-minded in my life.
Oh, I'm Clark. I need an official narrative.
I'm Wesley. I can't believe the official narrative. Ugh.
All right, dude. Well, then explain to me. Explain to me first off, before I get into this, why is it not possible for the Earth to be flat? What if I want a flat Earth, huh? What? Tell me, why is it?
Unfortunately for you, you can't have a flat Earth.
Why
no
not?
Matter how much you want, because a Greek scientist 2,400 years ago, Eratosthenes was his name.
Yeah.
Figured out that the Earth was round because when he was in Greece, you see my globe here I've got. When you're in Greece, there's different stars than there are in Egypt because they're on different sides. Because the stars are hitting them on different places of the parts of the planet. So that means that there must be a curvature somewhere.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? That's why.
All right. So hear me out. I think all that stuff that you just said is nonsense, and I think you're yapping. So let me tell you what I actually think. What I think is the real truth.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
I'm the yapper?
Yeah, I think you're yapping right now. All right. I think you're yapping about some globe stuff and about Greece, and them boys been dead a long time. And I think it's time.
Wesley, they discovered he mapped out the circumference of the Earth based on the curvature to within 500 miles using math. Even you have to admit that math means something.
Here's what this means. It means that history says that he did this.
Oh my God.
And history is written by the people who seem to have control over history, typically the winners. And I think there are people who have a lot to gain by selling you on a round Earth theory.
Okay, explain.
All right, so hear me out. We got a flat Earth map right here.
Yeah,
which, by the way, if you're in a commercial airliner, commercial airlines, their autopilot system uses the flat Earth map to navigate. The official story is that it gets rid of any kind of distortions associated with the latitude and longitude lines wrapping around a curved globe. But I also, if we put a man on the moon 70 years ago, I feel like our autopilot system should be able to account for a little bit of error in some latitude and some longitude. So I think that's a lie, frankly.
Okay, but why?
What do you mean, why?
Why lie about it?
Dude, I saw it on TikTok.
What? No. I have literally all of history on my side. You have to explain to me why would these guys want to lie about it.
All right. So hold on.
You can't just say I watched a TikTok on it. That's
right.
not good enough.
Nope, I get you. All right. So in the 1800s, you had a gentleman who was a bit of a sociologist. His name was Karl Marx.
Okay.
Okay. I know you weren't expecting me to know.
I wasn't
the old
expecting
Mr. Marx.
I wasn't expecting Mr. Communism himself to be
right.
talked about.
Right. Well, Karl Marx came up with this theory called conflict theory. It was a social contract of sorts, if you will, where he explains that there are two groups of people. There's the bourgeoisie and the proletariats, and the bourgeoisie are the rich people that have everything, and the proletariats are the working class that have to be basically indentured to the rich people, and they're all struggling over the means of production.
Okay.
All right. I think the world is ruled by a bourgeoisie who have access to the means of resources that lie beyond the ice wall that you hear about when you study flat earth theory.
You said you had a map. Can I see the
I
map?
do have a map. Here, take a look.
I would love to see. I love maps. So
Yeah?
let me see this map.
Here you go. They sell this on Amazon. It's got to be real.
I am so.
You want to know my source on that?
Yeah.
It checks. I checked it.
What?
It checks.
What does that even mean?
It means that it checks. It's vetted. I promise.
Was the I see the ice wall now.
Yeah. So it checks. The ice wall's there. The map has it there. It's there.
Yeah, but I think if you take a map.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do. I think if you take a map, if you take a globe like this one I've got in my hand, right?
Yeah.
And you put this on a map, it would look like there was an ice wall because the Arctic and the Antarctic stretch because of like modern map projection.
So now,
and it would look like an ice wall.
But to be clear, the ice wall that's on the outer confines of Earth in a flat Earth map is not the Arctic. It is Antarctica specifically, just for those who are listening. And I got a gentleman brought up here by the name of, he's a Rear Admiral Byrd, Admiral Richard Byrd. He was a Rear Admiral in World War II. Prior to World War II, this guy was doing some of the first American Antarctic expeditions and was setting up bases there. There are official missions that this goes by. There's a mission...
You're gonna say something? Or you're just gonna look at your phone all night?
I'm thinking about just looking at my phone, making sure that I get you stewing. That way I can, screw you over a little bit later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're really used to that.
Yeah. I'm just kind of looking to make you fumble. So
I don't think I'm the one fumbling by you having to refer back to your phone to look up Admiral Byrd.
No. Hear me out. All right, fine. I don't need Byrd. All right, I do need Byrd, but I don't need my phone. Let the record reflect that I threw my phone away. All right, so Rear Admiral Byrd.
No, he didn't. He literally threw it all of like 10 inches away from
you
him.
and your yapping semantics.
No, I'm just saying words have meanings and you have to use them correctly.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Meaning is subjective.
Oh my God.
Meaning is subjective. Let me give you something to argue with here. All right. So this guy, Rear Admiral Byrd, okay, he's going on these Antarctic expeditions and he's setting up science bases in the North Pole, in the South Pole, Antarctica, prior to World War II. And World War II goes on, and America decides that it might have more important things to do than to explore the Arctic, and so you see kind of a brief hiatus of sorts.
Like about 4 years there, right?
Yeah, about 4 years while we were busy making it warmer on certain islands out east. And so we were over there altering their climate temporarily. And you see some of these expeditions resume back in the late 40s, early 50s. And there's a lot of mystery.
Let the record reflect. He's got his phone back in his hands.
Let the record reflect. Eat one. So there's a lot of controversy over a diary that was allegedly recovered of Rear Admiral Byrd. Okay, and this diary came into the hands of an author by the name of Jeffrey Douglas. Jeffrey Douglas was an author of various New England nonfiction stuff. Just a couple quotes just to kind of vet him a little bit.
What was his name again?
Jeffrey Douglas or Joffrey Douglas. I don't know. It's British, so like, does the pronunciation matter?
He's not a Canadian actor and presenter.
He is not Canadian. I don't talk about Canadians in debates.
That's fair.
I don't believe in Canadians.
I'm gonna just look up Jeffrey Douglas,
Yeah.
flat earther.
Yeah. Well, he himself was not a flat earther to my knowledge. But that's also, you could kind of say that along the same lines that maybe Karl Marx wasn't a communist. I might be right, and I might just be spewing crap out of my mouth.
Yeah, because you're.
Well, I've done worse. So, like, here's Chicago Tribune saying that Douglas has a very simple yet compelling writing style. He's often alluded to as having a very similar writing style to F. Scott Fitzgerald, and he's praised by many different publications. Here's Ron Powers, who's speaking great praises of Jeffrey Douglas. Ron Powers notably had won a Pulitzer Prize. Okay, so this guy's got some legitimate backing. And one of Jeffrey Douglas's books that he was involved in was a book called, and I quote, Admiral Richard E. Byrd's Missing Diary, A Flight to the Land Beyond the North Pole and the Hollow Earth. And this is supposed to be a nonfiction account of a diary that had gotten into the hands of Jeff Douglas, who Jeff Douglas allegedly had read this diary, and he was publishing different results that were found in the diary. Follow me so far?
Okay, yeah.
All right. So according to these writings, we're back to Admiral Byrd. Now, Admiral Byrd, who had been going on many of these Arctic expeditions, his final expedition was in 1959. Okay, and it was a mission called, I want to say called High Jump, that was over there setting up research bases and so on and so forth. And he allegedly had been a part of a mission where they were uncovering either a prior existing stronghold that was thought to be from Nazi Germany or a stronghold that belonged to somebody.
And this is in the Antarctic, is what
this would be in the South Pole.
Okay.
Allegedly. Okay. And essentially, the premise of this is that Hitler was apparently obsessed with Hollow Earth and resources that would be in Hollow Earth, or resources that would be in whatever it was that they would call Hollow Earth.
And to be clear, for some people who aren't familiar with like Hollow Earth,
so
Hollow Earth is simply saying that the Earth it's just hollow on the inside, right?
It does, but that's not the way that I take it.
Okay.
I think that we have a phenomenon here, and maybe this is me interjecting some of my beliefs, but that doesn't always make them wrong.
Yeah, it does. You've never been right in your life.
So anywho, it's definitely here's what I got. Instead of it being Hollow Earth theory, it's not. It's the ice wall.
Okay.
And the ice wall has something on the other side of it.
Yeah.
It's not the end. It's just a dividing line that I think Byrd was able to somehow get past. Okay? And Byrd's diary reports seeing lush forests, vast resources, vast land masses, larger than the New World, the Old World, all the resources that a person could ever hope for, and advanced flying equipment that he related to flying saucers, like what you'd find in some cheesy 1950s alien flick.
What you're describing is that there's a whole other world on the other side of the.
Essentially, yes.
So let me ask you this:
if Karl Marx is right, then this is a world that's controlled by a ruling elite who have the very best of our technology, or maybe it's not our technology.
Let me back up here.
Yeah. Let me break it down for us from a fundamental standpoint, Mr. Thomas.
If
I'm sick.
If there's a whole other civilization, and there's not even a civilization, there's just a whole other land masses.
Right?
Right?
Yeah.
On the other side of this supposed ice wall.
Yeah.
were there humans there before? And how do we take into account? And how do physicists take into account this supposed ice wall and there's all this extra land on the Earth, right?
Right.
When we look into how the Earth affects the structure of the solar system, because there's a set mass that the Earth has to be to orbit around the sun, right? I mean,
allegedly.
not to orbit around the sun, but to be where it's at in the sun.
Well,
and
hypothetically.
And that we exert an influence on like the moon.
Hypothetically.
Like the moon is like us being the size we are is what keeps the moon going around us.
Have you ever
as it
thought
does.
that maybe we're just like flipping around in space like a coin? Hypothetically.
What's underneath the flat Earth in this case? So like when you is the ice wall not so much according to these guys? If you go around the ice wall, are you just going on the other side of the Earth?
No.
No.
Earth is bigger than that. So much bigger.
So
now,
what I don't understand then is how can you buy that at all?
all right. So I'll tell you that at first I was kind of skeptical. All right?
I would hope so.
Right.
In fact, I'm saddened to hear
A lot
that
of
you're
this-
not still skeptical
No,
or outright denying it because it's ridiculous.
No, I think that once again, here we've got Clark who's ready to suck on whatever the official narrative is.
I think no. What we've got here is that Wesley, who can't believe,
I'm Clark. Tell me what to think.
who can't believe that anything that didn't come out of TikTok, a random TikTok video that he watched 2 days ago, and then hyper fixated on.
Okay.
And then he just has to believe it because he has to justify all this time he's wasted on studying it. You can't tell me that's not what this is about.
All right. So hear me out. Another portion of this has to come from some distrust from NASA. Okay. If we're going to talk about stuff that have to do with space, and if we're going to talk about stuff that have to do with our globe and our world overall, then eventually we're going to have to acknowledge that NASA is a den of dirty, rotten, lying pigs. and we have to acknowledge that. They are dog water. They should be made irrelevant in society.
Dude.
Yeah.
You can't go around saying that.
I can. All right, guys. Here's the deal. I'm gonna be an aerospace division that's funded by the U.S. government, and I'm gonna put a handful of people on the moon 70 years ago, and then claim that we lost that technology and never be able to do it again on a bed.
No, because you're mistaken. Because we're doing it right now.
Are we?
Yeah, the Ares program. Have you heard of it?
No.
Well, you should look it up. You should spend less time researching these ridiculous theories and more time researching things that are actually going on, that are actually real.
Open acknowledgement that the co-host has been compromised by propaganda.
I do not want to hear this. I'm the one who's been propagated by propaganda. Wesley, Mr. Ray, all you do is spout anti-American, and pro-Russian propaganda. This is what the Russians want you to believe.
The Russians have got nothing to do with
Yes, they do.
No.
The Russians want you to believe that everything that was great about America is a lie.
No.
Yes.
Here's the deal.
Yes.
Here's the deal.
No.
If you look at a picture that NASA takes of Earth, either from space, allegedly from like the space station, or from the moon, or if you have a picture from low orbit, it shows this nice, neat curvature of the Earth. Very pretty. It looks really nice. I
You mean like this?
yeah, or even like an image where it's taken from low orbit and you're looking out across everything and there's this nice, beautiful slant curve to the Earth. And I think it all looks very pretty. I think it looks great. My problem with it is that if you send up homemade craft, if you put a video camera up on a hot air balloon, the videos that you get, and you can find resources of this out on the internet, The videos and images that you capture seem to contradict NASA's images.
Can you take a look at this picture I just Googled from Everest?
Yeah?
What do you see in the horizon there?
I see an image that seems to have been doctored. By
And
somebody.
that seems to have been doctored. And you don't believe for a second, that your image, that the videos and images you're talking about may have been doctored.
Mr. Thomas, I don't, and I have a very simple and yet
No.
effective reason for why.
No, I'm not going to let you talk for a second.
I have a very effective reason.
No.
You need to let me defend this reason.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No.
I demand to be heard.
I'm not going to let you be heard.
I hate you.
Moving on.
I hate you.
Moving on. To debunk this whole theory of yours about the flat Earth.
All right.
From a flat earther performed this experiment. This flat earther, and there's a video on YouTube you can watch of it.
Yeah.
Of the flat earther's raw reactions. He decided that if the earth is flat, he should be able to build something up, right? At one location, go and build an identical structure with a hole in it at the top of the structure they're building, and then shine a light through. If the earth doesn't have a curvature, you should be able to see the light on the other end, right?
Okay.
But when they shine the light through, you know what happened?
What?
There was no light on the other end because the earth has a curvature.
I honestly, I don't know. Sounds fake.
It sounds fake.
Sounds fake, dude.
So let me get this.
Hold on just a second. Where'd you find that at? On TikTok or something?
No, YouTube. And you know what? At least YouTube's run by a good American company. Instead of TikTok.
Oh yeah, good American company. They'll censorship and political views.
Oh yeah, because TikTok doesn't have any censorship on it. Considering the fact it comes from
China, what doesn't have any censorship on it?
The Communist Party.
Want to know what doesn't have any censorship on it? Instagram Reels.
Oh my gosh.
Instagram Reels.
On a side note, no, it does not.
Censorship.
No, it does not.
At all.
Somebody should really at Facebook, they own them, right? Or Meta, or whatever it is now.
They do, and it's surprising.
Yeah,
I would feel like Zuck would be all over that with his totalitarian beliefs.
Yeah, because somebody should get that under control.
Another show.
Because the stuff I have watched on Instagram Reels is outrageous.
Freedom on one side of the scale, security on the other. What do you want, Mr. Thomas?
That's a political question, and I'm not going to get into politics with you right now.
Yeah.
Yet is the key word.
All right. So you're saying that Earth's got a curve to it. Let me take a look here. Let me see what I think.
He's got his phone back in his hand.
Yeah, I gotta look this up. I'm dummy.
Are you pulling up the video that I've cited?
Hold on. Yeah, I'll get it
So
pulled up in a second.
while he's doing this, I'm gonna recount our conversation so far. Mr. Ray can't account for the extra space is, and in context of how it would affect the mass of the Earth in conjunction with our place in the solar system. He can't give me more than anecdotal evidence from this Admiral Byrd, whose own writings were published supposedly 20 years after his death? After he quit?
Yeah, thereabouts.
Yeah. I mean, so we don't even know if it was actually Byrd's writing, or if some guy decided, or if this Douglas guy decided 20 years later, you know what? I'm gonna write a nonfiction book, and I put in quotes that he's gonna write this nonfiction book, and then use Byrd's name to lend some credence to it because he thinks it's funny, or
So I have a brief counter.
Go on. I'm waiting.
I just watched him crush a fly the most calmly I've ever seen, directly with his finger.
Oh, see that? See it on the paper?
Oh yeah, bloody. I don't have time to be wrong.
You don't have time to. Let's let the record reflect that he can't debate me right now. He doesn't have anything to fight with me on this. So he's doing what he always does, and he tries to make the conversation as dumb as possible because he's more used to fighting at those conditions, whereas I'm smart. And
not to interrupt. I just found out about something called the Coriolis effect.
Yeah, okay.
And the Coriolis effect has to do with like the rotational force of us spinning, and apparently you can see it when you run water down like a drain.
Yeah.
Like all your water always runs down the drain in the same direction.
Yeah.
And it turns out that Earth is definitely round, and I'm an idiot. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I never. So you're willing to admit it's a sphere?
Well.
No, hold up. This is I have to get a calendar. What's the date? It's February 6th.
Oh, now let's not
2024 at 9:28 p.m. and Mr. Wesley Ray, is about to admit for the first time in our friendship, which has been a net negative for me, but in our friendship, that I'm right about something.
Okay, but hold on just a second. Let me quote NASA.gov since you like to worship them.
I do like NASA. You know, they took us to the moon. They've got a couple rovers. They put a helicopter on Mars. I do like NASA, yeah.
The Coriolis effect is caused by an imaginary force, but has very real effects on the weather of Earth and other planets.
Yeah?
How can a force be imaginary?
Mr. Ray, I think there are things about the solar system, about everything, that we can't explain.
I think it's a donut. I think it's like the ring. Like when you first like in the first game when you're Master Chief and the pillar of autumn flies in the scene and you see this giant ring there. I think that might have been based on real events. I think that might be Earth.
You mean like Halo Combat Evolved, the game?
Yeah, I think it's a ring.
I'm done.